look at someone and wonder what is going on inside their head?
Oh no. So awkward doing this. Wash your hands.
So what are emotions? That's actually pretty hard to pin down. Like, most of us know when we're feeling happy or sad or angry, but a lot of the time it's after the fact. If you're watching a scary movie, you may not even notice that you're afraid. You might notice that your stomach is queasy, and you might squeeze the couch or pillow, but you might never say, "I'm afraid right now." Or maybe you're in an argument with your brother or sister. In that moment, you might be red in the face. Maybe you raise your voice and start to yell and your eyebrows scrunch down. You're angry at them, but you don't stop and say that you're angry. It's just how you feel in your body. That's the nature of emotions. Sometimes they can be slippery and hard to pin down. It's much easier after the fact to tell how you feel. Still, there are a few things that all emotions have in common, and we can form a definition from those. Number 1, emotions are the result of a stimulus. Usually we don't feel happy or sad or angry for no reason. Something has to happen. With the scary movie example, the movie is the stimulus. The music and the monster in the closet both change the way you feel inside. And that's the second part. Number 2 is that emotions happen in our bodies. Once they are stimulated, we feel emotions in every part of our bodies. Nervous people tap their toes or bite their nails. Angry people ball up their fists or stomp around. Sad people cry, but they might also raise their shoulders or curl into a ball. Emotions have a way of getting under our skin. In other words, put those two together and we get our definition. Emotions are feelings and sensations that happen in our body as a result of a stimulus. What are the 5 basic human emotions? The first one is happiness. Happiness has a bunch of different hormones associated with it. If you feel good after a long jog, endorphins are usually the cause. And when you eat a big slice of non-pineapple pizza that you promised yourself afterward, your brain releases dopamine, since it is the hormone that spikes when you get a reward. There's also oxytocin, which is a bonding hormone that makes us feel all warm and fuzzy when we see our loved ones, our crushes, and cute animals. Next is sadness. We often think about sadness as the opposite of happiness, and the same is the case hormonally. Most sadness is caused by a lack of important happiness chemicals in the body. If your serotonin levels are low or out of balance, it can lead to sadness. This could happen when you get some bad news, or when you had hoped that you would get to eat pizza without pineapples, but then your parents order pizza with pineapples and you start to pick off the chunks of pineapple, but then you realize it's all melted into the cheese and it would take forever, and by that point your pizza would be cold and cheeseless, which is basically just dough with marinara sauce on it, which doesn't taste bad really, but it tastes worse because it should have been pizza. Both fear and anger make use of similar areas of the brain. This might sound weird to you at first, but if you've ever heard of the fight or flight response, then you'll understand why. The amygdala is a small part of your brain whose job it is to protect you from things we think are threatening. Oftentimes, this happens way faster than other emotions, which is why you can get angry or afraid before you even stop to really think. In the case of fear, the amygdala pumps your body with adrenaline and raises your heart rate. A lot of people report getting nervous energy, which the body produces just in case you need to run to safety. This is the flight part of fight or flight. Run away before the monsters get you. You might also feel like running away if you have to speak in front of a crowded room. In that case, the threat isn't that the people want to do anything that will be harmful to you, but maybe you're afraid that you'll look bad in front of others. It's a social threat that you're perceiving, so you want to run away. The brain secretes adrenaline and raises heart rate with anger as well. Of course, it's for a different purpose this time. Anger and aggression are also products of the amygdala. Sometimes it results in hitting or fighting, but more often than not, people raise their voices and argue with one another, often saying things they don't mean to say, aiming to hurt someone's feelings. Even though fear comes and goes though, sometimes it can take hours or even days for a person to get over being angry. The hormones stay in our body for a long time and can sometimes pop up again in different situations. Then there's disgust. Ugh. Disgust is probably the most mysterious of all the emotions. It's definitely negative, but it isn't fear or aggression. It's dictated by a part of the brain called the insula and is usually triggered by a stimulus of something repulsive. Bad smells, tastes, and weird images give us the sensation of disgust. Scientists think this is to keep us from eating spoiled food or breathing unclean air. There's also moral disgust, which triggers the same part of the brain but has to do with things we think are just plain wrong, like pineapples on pizza. I'm sorry, Hawaiians, but it just isn't for me. What's the story behind emotions? Our emotions are telling us a story about ourselves, and if we listen well, it can help us avoid danger, threat, or embarrassment. Take sadness, for example. You might think that being sad is a bad thing, but what might sadness be saying? Perhaps you've lost something important to you, and you're sad about that. You might say, I wish I could find that thing I lost. In that case, the solution is in the question. You can look for something you've lost and find it again. Without sadness, without missing something, you wouldn't know to look for something. That's pretty useful, isn't it? Sometimes sadness is our body's way of telling us that we want to or value something, and often we can turn it around by being creative. But what about fear and anger? Well, they're survival emotions meant to protect us. Fear says, that's dangerous, when you see or think of something scary. That's pretty useful, especially when you see a snake or an alligator or a bear. If you're afraid of the dark, then you're probably more afraid of what is going to be in the dark, like a person trying to get you to eat pineapple pizza. However, in a lot of cases, including the pineapple pizza example, sometimes we're afraid of something that isn't dangerous. And sometimes the story that fear tries to tell us can be a little dramatic. Whenever you're afraid, stop and try to ask yourself if what you're afraid of is really dangerous. Same with anger. I don't know about you, but I get the angriest when I feel like someone treated me unfairly. I should be in line in front of that person, they skipped me. Or even, how come everyone got ice cream instead of me? Anger lets us know that we are hurt and helps keep us from being hurt again. But sometimes anger goes too far. It escalates. She called me one bad word, so I'm gonna call her 2 bad words, and break her toys, and buy her pineapple pizza, yeah. Then the other person gets angry and does something even worse. This feels good in the moment, but when you think about it, it doesn't solve the problem of feeling hurt. It only makes it so that it hurts even more. Next time you're angry, ask yourself what it is specifically that you're angry about. Most of the time, what needs to happen is to communicate your feelings instead of acting on them. Tell that person how they made you feel. Most people don't intentionally hurt others, so they might apologize and promise to do better in the future. Last is disgust, but we already went over it some. Disgust is believed to keep us from eating things that are bad for us. If you've ever bitten into a rotten fruit or drank rotten milk, then you know what you do next. Spit it out and throw it away. Disgust says, this is bad for me. And if something is bad for you, it's probably a bad idea for you to eat it, sniff it, or do anything other than safely discard it. There are examples, though, when things that are disgusting aren't bad for us. Like fear, stop and ask yourself, is this really bad for me? If you don't know, definitely ask a responsible adult and they'll be able to help you figure it out. Broccoli might taste bad, but it's really good for us. Same with other fruits and vegetables. If you're disgusted by something, be safe and don't eat it. But later, take the time and ask someone older and wiser, like a grown-up, whether something is safe to eat or sniff. We're back at my house again. Thank you guys for watching this video. Thanks for all your support on all the videos, including the first 3 and this one. This video marks the end of the summer reading program videos for the Panama City Beach Library, but don't worry, we're going to be making a bunch more videos for you guys in the future, so pay attention to our website, pay attention to our social media page, and you guys will see some really cool experiments coming down the pipeline soon. This video didn't really have any kind of experiment for you to try, but I encourage you to pay attention to your emotions and pay attention to how they're making you feel, what they're trying to say to you, because emotions are a tool that we're supposed to use to navigate the world. That's all from me for now. Look forward to seeing you guys again real soon. Stay safe, wash your hands, pineapple on pizza is disgusting, and we'll see you next time.